I used to spend a ridiculous amount of time every single week trying to figure out what content to post. And now I plan an entire week of content from YouTube to Instagram Reels, stories, everything under 2 hours. And today I'm going to walk you through the exact system I use every single week.
I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything. Trust me,
If you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Denzil. I'm a filmmaker and content creator, and coming up with ideas week in and week out used to slow me down all the time. And I mean all the time. But today we're changing that. So by the end of this video, you'll have a framework you can literally use this Sunday to plan your entire week of content. Let's get into it. So here's what my content planning used to look like. So I'd head over to Instagram or YouTube looking for that elusive inspiration. Then I'd get overwhelmed by all the amazing content on there, while at the same time being happily distracted, you know, to the point where you actually forget you're there to research. Now this would happen all the time, and even so I'd still end up trying to create something, even if it was just for the sake of it, because you know, you gotta post, right? But as I said, inspiration can be elusive, so if the spark didn't really catch fire, I probably wouldn't post. Now, the problem was that, not that I didn't have ideas, the problem was I had no system. I was making hundreds of tiny decisions every single day, and that was draining, and it just led to a lot of mental fatigue. So I built a system, and that changed everything. Okay, so I'm gonna show you the framework at a high level, and then we're gonna drill down and I'll show you exactly how I do each part. And at the end, there's a bonus part, so stay tuned for that. We're gonna call it the 3-part weekly planning system. The first part of that system is called the content pillar planning. And this is where I decide what buckets my content falls into for the week. Second part of the system is called batch ideation. This is where I generate all my content ideas for the week just in one sitting. The last part of this system is called schedule mapping. This is where I assign each piece of content to a specific day and time slot. I usually do this on a Friday afternoon or a Sunday morning. Now let me walk you through each part and show you exactly how it works. First up, we're going to talk about content pillars. So these are the 3 to 4 themes that all of your content is going to fall into. For example, for me, my 3 pillars are: number 1, storytelling. This is my personal experiences, my lessons learned, my career journey, anything I've already been through or I'm currently going through. Number 2 is my how-to content. This is my tutorials, systems, practical advice, the real authority pieces of my content. And then the third one is my behind the scenes. This is like peeling back the curtain and taking a look at my life, how I do brand deals, how things work behind the scenes, how I structure my setups, etc. Now, every piece of content I create has to fall into one of these buckets, and this just stops me from posting randomly or chasing trends that actually don't align with my brand. So step 1 of my weekly planning, I decide the ratio. Okay, so it could be this week I'm doing 1 storytelling post, 2 how-to posts, and 1 BTS. Or maybe I need more practical content this week, so I'll just shift the balance. And this takes anywhere between 20 to 25 minutes and gives me the real structure and foundation for everything else going forward. Now here's what you can do. List down 3 to 4 themes your content falls into, and if you're not sure, look at your last 10 posts and try and find the patterns. If you don't have 3 to 4 themes, maybe have a little think about which 3 to 4 themes you would like your content to fall into. And that's your foundation. Now, if you are interested in the way pillars work, I can dive a little bit deeper into that in a future video. But let's move on to part 2, batch ideation. Okay, so now I know I need 1 storytelling post and 2 how-to posts, for example. It's time to start actually coming up with the ideas. So here's where most people get stuck though. They try to brainstorm 1 idea at a time. But instead, I generate ideas in batches. Feel free to write down these questions as we go through them, okay? So for each pillar, I ask the following. What questions did somebody ask me this week? What did I struggle with or figure out recently? What do I wish someone would have told me when I was just starting out? And what am I working on right now that others might find useful? Let me show you how this kind of transitions and works with my own content. Let's start with my storytelling content. In the summer, I got let go from my corporate job. And I decided to share what that's like going from a 9 to 5 and transitioning into becoming a full-time content creator. Now let's move on to my how-to pieces of content. I get questions all the time on how I light my videos. So it was very easy for me to make a few different lighting videos, and that just covers off my tutorials. Now BTS. When I shoot for clients or attend events, I make sure to grab content so I can show my audience what actually goes into a successful shoot or event. And the key here is I'm not trying to be clever or viral. I'm just documenting what actually happens in my week. So by then I usually have around 8 solid ideas and just pick 3 to 4 for that week. Pretty simple. So you might be thinking, okay, yeah, but I have a 9 to 5, so how am I gonna structure my weeks like that? Let me explain. So while I was in my 9 to 5, I did the same thing. Of course, the time slots change, but the idea of tackling one major thing each day remains the same. So when I was in my 9 to 5, I would choose to do an hour before work and then 2 hours after work. And if it was a weekend, I would use half a day to film, for example, and then the other half a day to edit, for example, maybe a Saturday and Sunday. So the same principle pretty much applies across the board. Okay, and you just need to do what works for you. So if you can only post twice a week, that's perfectly fine. You don't actually need to do more than that. That's exactly what I did for about a year, and it worked. Let me show you what my actual week looks like. Everything mapped accordingly, okay? So on Mondays, we have filming day. This is content creation day. This is everything from filming YouTube videos in the morning to filming batch Instagram reels in the afternoon. All we do is film, okay? And then organize the content. Tuesdays is production day. So this is editing everything we're trying to. Wednesdays we move on and we publish our YouTube video, and then I do a bit of business outreach in the afternoon. On Thursdays, I've got client work, one-on-one coaching, and then business tasks. On Friday, I have my analytics review and then my next week of planning, essentially. So I literally write it down like this. Monday, I film X, Y, and Z. And then Wednesday, I post A. Thursday, I post B. This way, when I wake up on Monday morning, I'm not thinking, what should I create today or this week? I'm just executing what I've already planned. And I know for sure today is filming day. And if something doesn't sort of work or I get a better idea along the way, I just adjust, because this is a framework, okay? It's not a prison, so we don't need to be locked in so much and keep it so rigid that we can't tweak it. It's supposed to work for you, not against you. So if you made it this far, you are a real one. And now we can talk a little bit about the bonus tips, okay? This is your reward for staying locked in. All right, so 3 quick things that make this system work even better are as following. Number 1, keeping an ongoing idea list. So throughout the week, when I come up with random ideas, whether I'm in a shower, whether I'm going for a walk, I note them down in my notes app. And when planning time comes, I already have all the raw material to work with. Okay. Number 2, batching your filming days. Notice how I film everything on Monday, just in a slot of 3 hours or something. It's way more efficient than continuously setting up and tearing down, setting up and tearing down day after day to film your content. Number 3, review what actually worked. So every Friday I look at what performed well and what didn't, and then that informs my next week of planning. So you should usually double down on the things that actually work really, really well. Let's recap today's session. So we started off with defining our 3 to 4 pillars. Then we moved on to batch brainstorming ideas for each pillar. Finally, we wrapped up with mapping those specific ideas to a specific day in your schedule. Now, this takes me, as I said, all in all about 90 minutes every Friday, and it completely eliminates the daily what should I post stress. Now, if you want an actual template that I use, I've linked it in the description below. It's completely free. Go grab that. And if this was helpful, I'd love for you to like and subscribe as we continue to grow this channel. I'll be posting weekly about building a creator business from scratch. So if you're interested, join the journey. Now, go plan your week, and I'll see you said I will see you in the next one. Peace and love every single time. Thanks.